crafts workshop online. We're encouraging you all to stay at home and be really creative. Last week we made some bonkers Easter characters out of toilet roll tubes, and hopefully you made them into Easter bonnets. I was sent quite a few photos actually. We had knitted sheep and we had little chicks, so thank you very much for sharing all your creations with us. Before we start, you have only got a couple of days. That's if you're watching this as we release this film. This hamper is going to be won on Good Friday, so that's this Friday. So if you watch this film after Good Friday this year, no chance of winning this. So if you do, last chances, do text to win this hamper. It's full of chocolate, full of crafts, and really, what more could you need right now? So do text the number that comes up on the screen, and you'll only have to write Lucky Egg, and you could be the lucky egg to win this hamper. Okay, I've done my spiel. We're fundraising for projects, so this is about us fundraising. But now I'm going to show you how to make some really nice crafts, just using things from around the house. Okay, so this week I had a thought about what we could make, and we're leading up to Easter weekend, so we've only got, what, a couple of days to go. And I always, every year, put an Easter wreath on my door. And I thought, well, I could do that, but I reckon we need to do something a bit more special this year, given the lockdown and staying at home. And I don't know if you've noticed all these amazing rainbows that people have been putting up in their windows. Well, I thought we could perhaps go one step further. Can you believe it? My cat, who has insisted every single time I do these workshops, appears in this video, she has now just come in through the cat flap, just as I'm talking. She's eating the croquettes or the biscuits again, so I do apologise for the soundtrack. What was I saying? We were talking about wreaths on doors. So let me show you what I've made. So from using things from around the house, it's all got a bit tangled up, I've made a rainbow of crafts so that we can hang this up on our front doors, or even on your bedroom doors or walls, or even in the windows so people can see. And I've made a rainbow of Easter little symbols. So we're kind of celebrating Easter, and we're also celebrating the amazing key workers who've been doing so much and sending a little ray of hope to everyone. So hopefully if we can all make some rainbows, that'd be really fab. So let's start looking at some of these things and what we're going to do to make this amazing rainbow wreath. Okay, so we're going to make this rainbow wreath. You'll probably want to scavenge around the house for rainbow colour card and bits and pieces. I've been doing that this week, and actually it's quite an interesting little exercise to try and find all the different colours. You'll find at the moment there's a lot of purple and yellow around in your recycling bins, probably with all your Easter gifts and things like that. So you'll be fine with the purples and yellows, but keep an eye out for all of those colours because you might need them for all the decorations. I'm going to move these to one side just so that I've got a bit more space. So you can see that I've done lots of different types of objects hanging from my wreath, and I've included like the daffodil that we made in video number 1, so you might want to make some daffodils that you can hang. So they're just not on the straw, I've just attached them onto something that would hang. What I thought I might do first of all is to make the really simple Easter eggs. So you don't have to do all these different things. You might choose to do one of these things and then repeat them in different colours. That's up to you. I just chose to do a mixture of things. But I think we'll start with the Easter eggs. And you can see that they're not flat Easter eggs. They've got a slight curve to them. And the way I've made those is actually out of a good old toilet roll tube again. So I'm going to show you how to make the Easter eggs. So I'll just move this out of the way. So you'll need a toilet roll tube, and you'll need your paper in any of the colours. I'm doing a purple one. And I've also had the very difficult job of finding this piece of purple foil. Obviously I had to eat something that released the bit of packaging. Hard job. Okay, so here we've got some purple. This is actually a bit of wrapping paper that we had. So I need to do our usual trick, which we've done in the other videos, like last week when we were doing the bunny rabbits, we were covering the tube. We're going to do exactly the same. So we've got the good old glue sticks out again. I found for one Easter egg on this, you only need half a tube. So if you want to be a bit economical with your resources, you'll probably get 2 eggs out of 1 tube. So I'm only going to put glue halfway around this tube so that I can use it for another colour, something else. So again, I'm going to roll this up. Probably don't need as much as that, so I'm just going to have half of the paper. There we go. So I've got half a roll of purple. Now, you might want to decorate your egg with a bit more than just paper. So if you can find other things to decorate it, sequins or ribbons or bits of paper, and you could cut all sorts of things out. I think that I might do some stripes. So I'm just simply cutting all this shiny foil, which might be quite attractive. Got my laser scissors going again, without the laser going. Right, I'm going to use something that I don't normally use, but I think you'll find that you all have this at home, some sellotape. The reason I've been using sellotape is we could actually cover all of these crafts with sellotape to make them a little bit more waterproof, so that if you do want to hang them outside on your front door and there's a bit of rain, you'll be able to use them. So I'm just going to place some sellotape on my foil, like so. I probably don't need that. I'm going to have half of that. So I'm going to do a couple of stripes on my egg like this, and like so. I don't normally use sellotape, but what a great way to make it a little bit more waterproof with a little bit of plastic covering there from your sellotape, and also you'll be able to use them years to come. So there we go, so we've got a couple of lines of foil. I won't do any more just for the sake of this demo, but oops. Okay, so I'm going to just cut this toilet roll in half, so I've got my purple section. Don't need that, that could be used for another one at another point. So you can see it's still got its curve. I'm going to just turn it over, and on this side I'm going to very carefully draw an Easter egg shape. So I'll do it freehand. It's normally deep rounder at one side than the other, thinner at the top. There you go, I've got sort of an Easter egg shape. I'm going to cut that out. Okay. So there we go, we've got one Easter egg. And you can carry on making these, all different colours, different decorations. You can even keep on covering with the sellotape if you want to make it completely waterproof to go outside. For this demonstration, I'm just going to leave that as that. So there you go, you've got one Easter egg ready to go on the wreath. So, going back to the wreath, I made some flowers. I told you that I made the daffodil, the way we made them the other week. But also I have made this blue flower, and I've used really simple materials you can find around the house. In fact, I've used an egg carton, still have some left over. So, and the other thing that I've used is a plastic bag. I happened to find a really nice blue plastic bag. So I'm just going to cut another little corner off my plastic, and of course this is waterproof if you wanted to make these for outdoors. Absolutely waterproof. So I need a piece of that. I need one of these egg holders. In fact, I need 2 of these egg holders, so let me cut those. Right, So you need two of those to make the flower. These are actually really simple to make. First of all, you need to trim up one of these egg cartons, just so that it's a nice neat cup, I suppose is the word you'd call it. One of those. And you'll need the other one a little bit shallower than that one. So let me show you. I'm going to cut this one so it's a little less deep. Like so. So can you see you've got one that's a bit deeper and one that's a bit shallower. So you need those two bits. Obviously, if you can't get hold of the, if you don't have the blue ones, I noticed we had this week some yellow ones. You could make some nice yellow flowers in this way if you wanted to. You could mix up the colours, but for the sake of the rainbow, I've tried to find blue and blue to make the blue flower. So we need to make the petals out of a piece of plastic. So the way I did that was I just folded this into quarters and I cut it into a circle to start with. So, oops. So we've got a sort of a round shape. So you should have something like that. Alright. Now just to make it a little bit more flower-like, I'm going to make the edge a bit frillier. So I'm going to just wiggle my scissors around to make those petally shapes. Hopefully when we open this up it might look flowerish, like so. Okay, so very simply, now I'm using a bit of sellotape because I don't have any double-sided tape at home, but if you did have that, that would be perfect. I've got to find the end of the sellotape. Oh hang on, I've got one at the end here. There we go. So I'm going to need a piece of sellotape, one, and I'm going to need a second piece of sellotape, two. I'm just going to, you know how you roll up tape on itself to make it sort of like a sticky roll all the way around? I'm just going to put that into my egg cup, the deep one. Can you see? So it's a bit sticky in the middle of the flower. And then with that, I'm just going to, right in the middle of that plastic bag, I'm going to squish that into my carton so that all the frilly leaves, or petals rather, are coming out. Now just to secure that in place, I'm going to squeeze that on, but I am going to put a little bit of tape just to make sure that that doesn't fall out. Earlier I did it without some tape and it fell out, so I recommend from my experience that you put a bit of tape onto your carton, then you're going to stick that in. So it should be a really nice snug fit to make your flower. So very simply we have got a lovely blue flower there to hang on our wreath. So that is how to make flowers out of egg cartons. Okay, so we've made some eggs, a bit like this, and we know how to make the daffodils, and we've made some now blue flowers. What I'd really like to do is to make some green leaves, and we're going to make these out of more toilet roll tubes. Okay, so I have this week done some prepared pieces. So like I've just done with the eggs on the toilet rolls, we're going to cover the tube with paper. I've obviously used a green paper that I've had, and what I've also done is I've actually lined the inside of the tube with paper as well, because you're going to see both sides of the tube doing this. So once you've covered your tube, you need to chop up your tube. So this might be a bit tricky, but we're going to have a go. You need some really strong scissors to do this. I guess it depends on what pages you've covered. But you'll need to make a nice sort of ring from the tube. And one edge is going to be pinched and the other edge is going to be left round. So you get a kind of a teardrop shape or a leaf shape. So I'm going to do that a few times. You can have them as deep or as shallow as you want. I'll do a small one and I'll do some deep ones just to show you the variety. So you can get quite a few from one toilet roll tube really. So there we go, we've got another one there. Quite like the shallow ones, they're quite sweet. And another one there. I quite like the deep ones to get a bit of colour, which you do need to show off on your wreath and your door hanging. So again, I'm going to use some sellotape to tape those together. I found that was the easiest way, and again, if you want to make it waterproof, cover it in sellotape. Obviously if you've got sticky back plastic, even better, but I mean, who has that around their house? Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to put a bit of sellotape round. Oops, I've got in a right angle doing that. Don't do it that way. Okay. So I'm just taping them together so that, I guess they're like bunny rabbit ears as well. And one more. Just taping it to each other like so. There we go. So I've got some leaves. You could hang them just like that if you wanted to. I actually added a little something, so I found some scrap card from the recycling. Just cutted it into another leaf. So you might want to just add, oh, wrong way. Might just want to add another leaf like so, and again, a bit of sellotape, and you can stick that all together. Put a bit of sellotape around the back, attach it on. Might need a couple of bits, but there we go. So we've got some nice leaves now to hang up on our door hanging with the flowers. Okay, so we made leaves, we've made flowers, we've made eggs. The other essential, I believe, is carrots at Easter time for those bunny rabbits. So as we needed an orange for the rainbow, I thought it would be rather nice to have some carrots to hang on the orange section. So they're really simple to make, and they're just made out of paper really. So let me show you how to make those. I've really struggled to find orange paper. That's when I was looking through all the recycling. And I could only find like small little bits from packaging. So I came up with a cunning plan. Let me show you. I don't know if anyone else does colouring in, but occasionally I sit and do a bit of colouring in. And I think sometimes they get a bit wasted, all the colouring in left in the book. So I thought actually this one I did years ago, but I did it all in sort of orangey colours. I thought that would make a really good carrot. So you might want to raid your colouring in books, or even do some colouring in order to make the carrot, and find the right colours. I cut some out earlier from another one that I had coloured in, and basically you need to cut out a triangle shape because you're going to roll it up into a cone. So thankfully this is a bit of orange colouring in. I'm now going to make this into a carrot. So I'm going to use a bit of sellotape again. Bit of tape ready. So it's as simple as you'll need the point of your triangle will be the point of your carrot. So you are simply going to be rolling up your carrot up into a cone. You could put a bit of glue on, but again, if you want these to go outside, cover it in a bit of sellotape and it'll make it go waterproof with the plastic. So, oh, I didn't stick that very well. Never mind. Okay, I'm sort of on. So you need to stick that all together. I'll just pop that over. So there you go, you've got the basis of your carrot. The way I made the top actually is I just did some snips all the way around. I just wanted to make a joke about parsnips there, but no, I can't think of how to do that. Anyway, okay, so back to carrots. We're going to fold these down. Can you see what I'm doing to make almost like a lid? They're just folding up on each other. And I'll just put a bit of tape on that to hold it in place. So a bit of tape along the top, stick it down, and then that carrot is fully formed into a cone. Alright, so you've got the main body of your carrot. Just need to have a little bit of the green at the top now. So very simply I just cut a little bit of green paper. If you've got a bit of scrap paper, could use a bit of packaging. So I would suggest you need something about that kind of size. You can kind of roughly measure it to your carrot and what you've made as a cone. You'll need to snip all the top parts of your carrot to make all of the little leaves where it's growing, like so. And then I very simply just fold that end, and that gives you something to stick onto the carrot. So again, a bit of sellotape. My artist team will be absolutely shocked I'm using sellotape, because I never use sellotape. But you know, it's lockdown, you need to use what you can find in your house, and frankly I'm pretty sure most people will have a bit of sellotape in their house. Okay, so there we go. So we've got carrot to hang on your wreath. Okay, so this part is about assembling your door hanging. You can see from my one that I made, I used a piece of wood from the garden. So I went into the garden, found a twig or a branch that I could use, but honestly you could use anything that's got a bit of strength, you know, a stick, anything you can find, a bit of bamboo. I'm sure there'll be stuff that you can find around the house. Very simply, everything needs to be strung with a piece of string or similar up onto your stick. Now I tried, it was a bit of a challenge, I tried to find the right colours for all of the different things. You might not be able to do that. It might just be simpler to just use some string that you have in the house and use that. I used those for the carrot, which would look rather well because it looked like a garden-y string with the garden carrots. I also found at home quite a lot of wrapping up ribbon, so that's a really good way to get some colour if you wanted to. So I happened to have blue, which was brilliant, which meant I could do my flowers in the blue. I also raided my sewing box and I found some thread, so you could get cotton or thread, embroidery thread, or even wool if you've got a knitter in the household. I'm sure they wouldn't mind you having a little length of wool, and you'll find lots of colours for that. So I used red. I found red really hard to find, so that was my red that I found for my Easter egg. If you're lucky, you might find some ribbon. I do have a little bit of ribbon around the house, but you might not have all the colours you want. And I've actually thought of a brilliant way of where you can find ribbon. And let me show you. This is, you need to raid your wardrobes. You know these bits in your tops? The hangy bits that normally put on your coat hanger. I don't think many people use them, so you'll find that you'll get a really good piece of ribbon to hang up your decorations. So trim off those out of your clothes. If you're not bothered about using them when you hang them up, use this to find some ribbon for your wreaths. So that's my hot tip. There we go. So you very simply are just going to be hanging up all of these things. You could use a bit of tape, you can make a hole, tie it up, and then you're going to string it. Now the trick is, have a look at this demo. I've tried to make a rainbow. So I've tried to make the red longer than the orange up, and it goes round. So you've got a bit of an archway as it hangs, and that's the tricky thing. You might need someone to hold it whilst you're putting it on. I've also just noticed I couldn't find anything green to hang up my leaves, so I actually used a piece of paper and I just cut the string out of paper, so that works just as well. So if you can't find any string, you could use paper to hang them up. But as I was saying, try and hang them up so that there's some longer, some shorter, and you can try and make a really nice rainbow shape. And then lastly but not least, you'll need some bit of string or ribbon to tie on the two ends so you've got something to hang it up on the door. Okay, so I've also got an alternative to this whole making thing. If you're not someone who particularly likes doing crafts, but you do fancy making a rainbow for your door, I've got another option for you. Instead of making all of the things, why don't you go and see if you can find things around your house that you could hang up to make a rainbow. I made one earlier just to show you what I mean. I've used a coat hanger to attach all sorts of things that I found around the house as a rainbow. So anything from paint palettes to pot lids, sunglasses, juggling balls, bits of plastic bags. but all of that is waterproof and still could be hung up outside on the door. So perhaps kids who are a little bit younger, or if you're not really into the making thing, do try and create a rainbow out of stuff. You just need stuff that you're happy to hang up and also go out in the water. Anything made of plastic obviously would be brilliant. Fabric, it will just dry. So I quite like this alternative rainbow that we could hang up on our windows or on our doors. That's a bit of a challenge for you, but I reckon they could look really fab. Okay, so hopefully you'll have made lots of lovely things and then hang them up on a nice branch or on a stick or a coat hanger, whatever you can find. I'm going to go and hang these up on my front door so that everyone can see, who are walking through the village doing their daily exercise, they'll be able to spot a rainbow. It's a bit different from having a drawing in the window, so hopefully we can be a little bit alternative and make people smile with our wonderful door hangings for Easter. Thank you for watching all of our tutorials on Animate Arts Company. We hope you enjoyed them. We hope you carry on being creative. Keep sending us your photos of everything you're making. Post us reviews on our Facebook page or on Twitter or Instagram or even on YouTube. We'd love to hear from you. And thank you. Please stay at home, stay safe and have a very happy Easter.